When designing a small space, you need more than just decor, you need strategy. Today, we're diving into the principles of classic French interior design and adapting them for the modern, compact apartment. We'll explore the subtle but essential elements that give Parisian spaces their famous je-ne-sais-quoi, the artful mix of antique finds and modern pieces, the power of a monochromatic palette, and clever tricks to make any room feel instantly taller and brighter. This is your masterclass in creating an authentic, elegant, small Parisian space living aesthetic that feels timeless. The foundation of Parisian elegance isn't the furniture, but the architectural bones. Even without the grand height of a house Monera flat, you can infuse classic French character using DIY wall molding, often called boiserie. This visual slideshow demonstrates how simple chair rails, picture rails, and subtle crown molding can be used strategically to frame walls, adding depth and expensive-looking detail to flat plaster. In a small apartment, the trick is moderation, using thinner profiles and keeping the color the same as the wall, a soft white or pale gray, to create shadow and dimension without overwhelming the room. It's an inexpensive project that delivers the highest possible return in aesthetic sophistication, instantly elevating your tiny space. The most indispensable secret of small Parisian spaces is the gilded mirror. More than just decor, these large ornate pieces are crucial design tools that play magic with light and dimension. A massive, gold-framed mirror, typically leaned against a wall rather than hung, captures every sliver of natural light and bounces it deep into the room. This visual trick instantly makes the space feel twice as grand and open, mimicking the expansive windows of classic Parisian salons. When placed opposite a window or a beautiful focal point, the mirror acts as a second dazzling window, turning your tiny apartment into a shimmering, reflective space of light and luxury. tiny Parisian balcony, with its signature wrought iron railing, is a cherished outdoor retreat. When space is limited, the design focuses on essential charm and maximizing function. We showcase how a small foldable French bistro set, just 2 chairs and a round table, can transform an overlooked slab into a dreamy cafe corner for morning coffee or evening wine. Lush planters, vibrant geraniums, and climbing ivy should spill over the edges, softening the hard lines. The look is complete with a simple outdoor rug and maybe a string of warm, twinkling lights, proving that even a half-meter deep balcony can become a private, charming outdoor oasis. The Parisian bedroom, even in a small apartment, is a sanctuary built on sensual textures. The style demands an avoidance of anything cheap or synthetic, favoring rich materials that feel beautiful against the skin. We look at 2 primary textures: luxe velvet for depth and color, think a deep sapphire throw pillow or an emerald headboard, and soft, breathable linen for bedding and drapes, always in muted tones like oyster, ecru, or pale blue. Layering these 2, the heavy velvet against the light, crumpled linen, creates a tactile, inviting space that whispers of understated luxury and effortlessly elegant comfort, making the small room feel like a cozy, sophisticated cocoon. The Parisian aesthetic is proudly intellectual and deeply personal, reflected in a carefully curated collection of artwork. Forget sterile matching prints. The focus is on a high-impact gallery wall that mixes different eras and styles. Think a vintage black and white photograph of the Eiffel Tower next to a modern abstract painting, or a classic portrait juxtaposed with a flea market sketch. The key is using simple, high-quality frames, black, white, or subtle gold, and grouping the pieces thoughtfully, giving them space to breathe. This approach turns a blank wall in a tiny apartment into an extension of the resident's cultured mind. the compact, often minimalist, kitchens of Parisian apartments, clutter is the enemy of elegance. The secret to maintaining that chic, uncluttered look lies entirely in smart, hidden storage. This isn't about giant cabinets, but ingenious tricks, utilizing vertical wall space with streamlined shelving for beautiful porcelain, installing pull-out drawers rather than standard shelves in pantries, and ensuring appliances are discreetly integrated or as small as possible. The goal is a highly functional space that looks entirely uncluttered. Only the most beautiful, curated items should ever be left on the counter, making organization the ultimate act of aesthetic refinement. The signature je sais quoi of French decor is the deliberate juxtaposition of old and new. It's the confident design choice to pair a highly ornate, antique Louis XVI chair with a sleek, minimalist, contemporary floor lamp, or a vintage marble top dresser next to a modern abstract painting. This mixing of eras prevents the small space from feeling like a museum piece or a furniture showroom. Instead, it creates a sense of effortless, multi-layered style. The items appear to have been collected over a lifetime of cultured travel and savvy flea market finds, giving your tiny apartment a sophisticated, timeless soul. Color is the easiest, most impactful way to define a Parisian space living atmosphere. The most effective choice for a tiny apartment is a neutral paint palette, soft, complex shades of white, oyster, pale gray, or gentle greige. These tones reflect natural light beautifully, making walls visually recede and ceilings appear higher, thus expanding the perceived size of the room. The neutrality provides a calming, elegant backdrop that allows the architecture, the artwork, and the beautiful furniture to take center stage, proving that restraint in color is the height of sophistication. One of the most defining characteristics of a classic Parisian apartment is the herringbone wood floor. This intricate pattern, even when recreated with laminate or peel-and stick tiles in a small space, instantly injects a layer of luxurious historical texture. The geometric pattern guides the eye and adds a rhythm that makes the room feel longer and more dynamic. This flooring choice is a powerful visual foundation that elevates the entire aesthetic, adding a sense of inherent quality and architectural interest far beyond what simple straight planks can achieve. Work-from-home space in a small apartment requires elegance and discretion. The Parisian solution is to carve out a sophisticated desk nook using a small antique desk, perhaps a vintage secretary or a dainty writing bureau. Placed against a wall or in a corner, these pieces, with their slim lines and delicate carvings, take up minimal visual space. When paired with a streamlined modern chair and a simple, elegant table lamp, the area becomes a focused, refined workspace that feels intentional and beautiful, rather than just a makeshift office. You might think a statement crystal chandelier is too much for a low-ceiling apartment, but it is a quintessential Parisian touch. The secret is selecting a piece that is wider and more contained, rather than long and dangling. A glamorous flush mount or semi-flush mount chandelier with delicate crystals adds sparkle, texture, and a high-end feel, drawing the eye upward and giving the illusion of height. This bold piece of ceiling jewelry acts as a powerful focal point, broadcasting effortless French luxury throughout the small room. Even without a formal foyer, a tiny apartment needs an elegant transition point. A narrow console table serves as the perfect entryway styling element, creating a drop zone without consuming much floor space. We showcase how to dress this table with signature French pieces, a simple vase of fresh flowers, a small decorative gilded tray for keys, and perhaps a classic bust or an antique lamp. This small, curated vignette immediately sets the tone of sophistication for the entire home, greeting visitors with organized, understated elegance. In a Parisian apartment, the window is a connection to the city's charming architecture. The best window treatments for small spaces are those that maximize light and enhance height. We favor long, sheer linen or soft cotton curtains that fall to the floor, hung on a rod placed high, close to the ceiling. This vertical line draws the eye up, while the sheer fabric diffuses light beautifully, providing privacy without blocking the view. The resulting look is airy, romantic, and effortlessly elegant, avoiding the heavy, visually shrinking effect of thick drapes. The deliberate use of a vintage Persian rug in a small living area grounds the space, adding rich color, intricate pattern, and a sense of history. Because Parisian style favors neutral walls, the rug provides a necessary point of contrast and visual weight. We demonstrate how to choose a rug that is slightly too large for the space, tucking it under the front legs of the sofa. This trick makes the seating area feel more expansive and unified, beautifully anchoring your furniture and infusing your tiny apartment with cultured warmth. While most new modern flats lack the beautiful architecture of a traditional Parisian home, you can easily replicate the aesthetic focal point using a decorative ornate fireplace mantel. These can be purchased as standalone architectural pieces and placed flush against a wall. This decorative repurposing creates an instant anchor for the room, acting as the perfect pedestal for a large mirror, a bust, or an elegant vase. It provides the classic historical context that the rest of the small space design can then play off, giving your apartment an elevated, permanent sense of place. As we conclude this visual tour, remember that the true heart of Parisian design is authenticity. It's not about perfection, but about curating a space that feels deeply personal, collected over time, and effortlessly lived in. We hope these images have convinced you that your small Parisian space living dream is achievable by simply choosing fewer, better pieces and letting them tell your story. Embrace the architectural details and the beautiful patina of age. That is the very essence of elevated tiny apartment style.